Hello, I'm Horcerer. I want to find out what makes every single killer tick. There's one big glaring issue with that though. I play the Nemesis, essentially only the Nemesis. I physically cannot get thousands of hours of experience on every single character. So, I'm going to be interviewing people that do have those thousands of hours. One for every single killer. Welcome to Stars of the Fog. Alright, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stars of the Fog. Today's killer is Chucky the Killer Doll from the horror franchise Child's Play, put into Dead by Daylight relatively recently, and honestly, this was a chapter that we never thought we would get because we weren't sure how Behavior would do it, but they knocked it out of the park, and here we are. My guest here today, Mr. Smithsonian, is an established Chucky player, one of the best to ever do it, and rather than continue glazing them from my point of view, I'm just going to let them introduce themselves rather than try to do it myself. So, who are you? What are you known for? And why Chucky?
Hello gamers, I am the one and only Mr. Smithsonian. I have been a Chucky main since the PTB was dropped. Well, even before that when the first teaser came out. And as I said, I am known for being one of the top Chucky players. I played with him in a few competitive matches. And probably the reason I main Chucky was because I subjected myself to being a Myers main since I started playing. And the moment a license I like came out and it had a fun killer, I was like, oh my god. Killer can actually be fun, and I just dropped Michael for Chucky.
I'm assuming that you're someone that got into Dead by Daylight because of like a horror license that you really liked. Like you saw Myers, I assume, and were like, okay, yeah, let me try this game out.
Yeah, I saw Michael Myers in 2017, and I was like, oh wait, no way. And I just gravitated towards him, even though, I mean, in 2017, he was one of very few killers you could pick, but even then, he still wasn't that good, especially during the quote-unquote meta of the time.
Mm-hmm. And did you just play Myers like the entire time up until Chucky's release? Or was there like, what was the journey like from where you first began to how you got to Chucky?
Yeah, it was basically entirely Myers. I also played Survivor because, you know, the best killers are the best survivors are the best killers, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, it was almost entirely Myers with a little Hunter sprinkled in.
Okay.
And I liked his playstyle. It was a very basic playstyle akin to the movies. You stalk people, you level up. It was a half-decent time. But, you know, you can only play the same killer for so long, and eventually they revealed that Chucky would be coming out, and I am also a massive fan of the Child's Play franchise, and so I just got so excited. I played him on the PTB, and it was an absolute blast.
So you kind of got drawn to it by the fact that you've already seen what it's from, the source material, because it's a licensed chapter, of course.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a little bit about the source material. Like, how did you get into Child's Play, I suppose? Like, was there an initial appeal? When did you first get into the franchise? And, like, what's the drawing power for you?
I've been a big fan of horror movies for a very, very long time. Halloween has always been my favorite holiday, and my family would binge watch horror movies ever since I was maybe, like, 10 or 12. And Chucky was always on that list, so I have been exposed to, you know, Chucky and Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees from a very young age.
Okay, so just like a big horror franchise family then. Gotcha.
Yes, most of the killers I main are licensed.
So it wasn't necessarily that Chucky was your favorite, just more like that he has been the most fun to play so far in Dead by Daylight. But you like all of them.
Yeah, I haven't found a killer who's quite as fun as Chucky, even though they've nerfed him up and down for quite a few times.
And what do you enjoy the most about Chucky if you had to pick one thing?
Scampering. I like killers who can vault windows faster. In fact, let me see here. Out of the 5 killers I have Prestige 100, 4 of them can go over windows quickly.
And what's the one that can't go over windows quickly?
Oni. See, Dracula can fly over them in bat form, Wesker can power dash, Chucky can scamper, and Michael just has a base kit faster vault.
Okay. So you enjoy killers that go over windows faster, basically.
Yeah, power vaults are one of my favorite things to do. It's also why I run Finesse on Survivor. Vaulting fast is just one of the most fun aspects of the game for me. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. And on the other side of things, because, you know, you enjoy vaulting fast, of course, but what do you dislike the most about Chucky if you had to choose something?
It's really hard to say because I just love him. I could just be a basic bitch and say I don't like his cooldown, but you know, every killer has to have a cooldown at some point, unless you're Hillbilly. But if I could, I'd reduce his cooldown, even though it might make him busted, because having downtime on any killer isn't fun.
But it's just like because he is like a 110 killer, you don't really enjoy the having to like walk after them slowly when your power isn't available.
Against good survivors who will pre-run if they hear your terror radius, it's just a bit boring to always be on cooldown. That's why I tend not to use his power for stealth. So when I do eventually waddle up to them, I have my power ready and get an easy first hit.
Yeah, that makes sense. And with good survivors even, how would you rate your killer's strength? Like, not just an obvious answer like, okay, here's where they are on the tier list, but just with your experience, your games, your time on the killer, how good do you think he is?
As of right now, I'd say Chucky is probably on the lowest end of the A tiers. He is one of the few killers in the recent meta, especially if the 9.2.0 changes go through, who could actually be considered lethal because his power, while slower than what it was before, can still get very, very reliable hits. He's much like Spirit in a way where you'll get a nice easy hit, then you'll be on cooldown, then when it's over, you'll get another easy hit. They have a very similar gameplay loop.
Even in the way that you kind of can't see both of them because Spirit goes invisible and Chucky is like a foot tall.
Exactly. They're remarkably similar, especially more so when Chucky was incredibly fast.
Fast how? What did they change about that?
So Chucky on release and up until I think December of 2024 moved at 10 meters per second during his dash, which is very fast. It's faster than I think Blight could ever go with his current double speed.
Wow.
Yes, it was almost unreactable because he's 2 feet tall. So when there was a hotfix after Poundmaster came out where they reduced his slice and dice movement speed to 8 meters per second, and you could very much feel it.
And do you feel like that change to the kit, that update, making him slower was like a fair nerf, or do you think it was like kind of overtuned, or how do you feel that behavior has like been treating him as far as making changes to his character have gone?
Overall, they've kept a very good eye on him. He's one of the few killers they've been almost constantly tweaking since release. But at first, I felt this massive change. I felt so slow, so sluggish. But additionally, they increased his slice and dice duration by 50%. So he went slower, but he also went much further. And then after that, they increased his acceleration, because previously Chucky started out somewhat slow during his dash, but over the course of a quarter, a second, half a second, he got up to his top speed, and they just reduced that acceleration, so he's almost instantly 8 meters per second now.
So would you say that the current Chucky is like your favorite iteration of it, or do you think that you would change something else if you had full control over what to do with him?
If I had full control of Chucky, the game would be dead in probably a week.
Okay.
Listen, I'm just saying, I really like the long dash. You can play like a sniper version of Chucky, especially the jump rope, but I did appreciate my 10 meters per second dash. I would go back to that in a heartbeat, even though I know some Chucky mains would disagree with me.
But that's the only thing you would change about it if you were to make a change to it?
I know it's unbalanced. I definitely probably wouldn't go back to 10 meters. I think a good middle ground would be like 8.5, 8.6 meters per second.
Okay. Not 10 though, just like a little faster would be nice.
Just a little faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did kind of say it was unreactable earlier as far as frustrating things about the character goes, but what would you say, like, for survivors at least, is the most frustrating part about playing against Chucky?
I haven't faced many Chuckies, especially since they got quote-unquote nerfed him, but the most frustrating part is probably not being able to see him, and also the fact that his dash is not that hard to use. In most scenarios, if Chucky is dashing after you, are going to get hit.
Unless you have, like, a really convenient palette or something.
Convenient palette, pre-drop. Pre-dropping is, again, it's a boring play style, but it's something you have to learn to do against Chucky because it counters his dash so hard.
And you said that you don't play too often against Chucky, but you do say that you play both roles, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So when, in like once in a blue moon, you do get to play against a Chucky, how do those games usually go? Do you enjoy playing against them, and like why or why not?
I don't mean to toot my own horn. I mean, I do, but like most of the Chuckies I go against just aren't good. They don't know how to use his dash. They'll use it around corners blindly. They'll not understand how to use Scamper properly. They'll use it right in the open. But yeah, usually against Chuckies, I get a nice 4-man out, even when I'm playing solo queue.
Nothing super crazy about Chucky games then?
I mean, I say, oh my god, it's my main. I'm so excited to play against you, and then they never chase me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a classic.
That's how they know. I know.
And do you ever get like recognized as a Chucky player by people like that, or no?
Quite a few times recently in the endgame chat, people have said, oh my god, you're the Chucky guy.
And you're like, yeah, I am. That's me.
Yeah, I'm the Chucky guy. I lean back in my chair. Yeah, I know. But no, it is always such a thrill to get recognized because I'm like, oh my god, I'm known for being the Chucky guy.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I can confirm.
It's nice to get recognized.
So you've said that the average Chucky you play against doesn't really know what they're doing as far as like all the techniques and all the things they can do, but say that you are just trying to tell someone about like all the cool shit you can do on Chucky. Like, what are you going to tell them? Like, what techs can Chucky do?
Chucky really doesn't have very many techs. The hardest one I can think of has zero effect on the survivor end. It's hard to explain, but if you spin your camera around really fast while activating your like tapping your slice and dice, you can change the direction Chucky is facing on your screen, but not the direction he's actually facing. So he could be looking towards you, but you're going forwards, and then you could do a little moon dash. It does not look like that on the survivor's end. It's just on your end.
So it's just for aura purposes.
It's only for aura farming during clips. The main quote-unquote tech, I guess, is really only usable on PC, where after performing a scamper, PC players can look down very fast, and this will cause Chucky to go to the right instead of forward during a slice and dice. And then he can still have a 90-degree turn after that, which can make scampers far more viable at a lot of loops.
So it is like a technique that actually is helpful in his like chases.
Yes, but as I said, console players can't really do it because their camera movement just isn't as fast.
That's rough. That's rough.
It is yeah. A lot of good survivors will attempt to counter Chucky scampering because you have two counters. Either go a short loop afterwards, like round the corner that he can't make around, or try and go behind him as he's vaulting. And if the Chucky is good enough and fast enough, he can flick his mouse down and hit you while you're behind him.
Okay. So it's very much like easy to tell if the Chucky is like really knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So kind of on the other end of things of like what techs are just because of how this game works, how it's coded. Oftentimes things that are unintended do become part of a character. Like I think the most obvious one is like hug teching on Blight, you know, bugs that aren't meant to be there but become part of a skill expression of a killer. Does Chucky have any bugs that maybe aren't as obvious to other people that don't play Chucky, or even like big game breaking bugs to the character?
Something that's been part of Chucky since his release is activating hidey ho mode and charging your slice and dice at the exact same time, because normally when Chucky is charging a slice and dice, he makes a very loud yeah sound. But if you're entering hidey ho and charging at the same time, half of that sound gets masked by him giggling as he enters hidey ho mode.
So he just doesn't make the sound.
He makes it at the very last second, which is hard to react to.
Okay, so it's something that you would say would be necessary to be fixed.
Yeah, I would definitely fix it. More counterplay is always good against killers. It makes the survivors feel less hopeless. But yeah, it's been since the PTB, and it's become a staple part of playing Chucky, but I understand that it's definitely not intended.
And is there anything else, or is that like the big one?
That is definitely the big one. There's some other ways. I made a post about it, but one of the bigger Chucky bugs is the fact that, well, if you turn your camera as you're entering hidey ho and doing the whole charging slice and dice thing, it will get completely masked. Like there will be no charge sound at all because Chucky's making a knife swing sound effect, and I guess that masks it.
That seems pretty bad to have on the character.
And then also, if you're charging slice and dice as you're falling off a hill, even if you hit the ground before you're done charging, it will make no charge up sound.
Wow, okay. So he's got some audio issues.
He's had audio issues for a long time. Again, much like Spirit.
True.
They both have some gnarly audio issues.
That's saying it bluntly, yeah.
I've heard from other Chucky mains. I haven't really experienced this because, again, I don't really play against Chuckies that much. But whenever he's in hidey ho mode, he's supposed to giggle a lot. And these giggles can be heard from 12 meters away. And they're also directional.
Yeah.
But I've heard that they're not directional right now.
Oh, great.
Which severely hinders his counterplay because, you know, he's very tiny and hard to spot.
And hard to hear now, too, apparently.
Yeah, but so you have 12 meters of reaction time to look around really quick to see where he's at.
Okay. And so a lot of the time when you're playing a killer or maining a killer, you're going to have more experience than basically anyone else that talks about the killer, right? Like that's just naturally how it goes. So people aren't always going to understand every little bit about a character. Are there any common misconceptions that people don't really understand about Chucky or things that you wish people understood about them? Like, say there's a common grievance that has obvious counterplay from your point of view that isn't being used. Is there anything along those lines that you'd want to like clear up about the character?
Yeah, I watched a video recently on how to counter every killer, and I was like, oh my, what are they going to say when they get to Chucky? And they got to Chucky, and they said there's no counterplay. And I was just shocked because there is. You can counter Chucky. It's called pre-dropping. It works against a lot of killers, but against Chucky, a little 110 ass, it really, really hurts him. And another thing is that Chucky has special footfalls that can be seen above loops for an average killer can be seen. So think Freddy Krueger. If you could see Freddy Krueger over a loop, you could see Chucky's feet. So instead of looking for Chucky, look at the ground for his feet.
Yeah, the white footfalls you can see through walls.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes I have issues on maps like Ormond where you can't really see them because the map is already white, but that's more of like a game issue than a Chucky issue, I would say.
Yeah, I said probably you could make them a different color so you could spot them more on certain maps because they are a little hard to see.
My permanent pipe dream is that I wish we could change the colors of like auras client side just so you could like do like, oh yeah, here's my white aura with like a black outline or like purple if you really want to.
Yeah.
Just like whatever would make it easy for you to see.
I don't use aura perks as I'm a fucking sweat lord. I run 4 slowdown.
Yeah, I only run 4 slowdown, buddy. I only want to win.
Yeah, I only run 4. Oh man, I gotta get my 3 hooks against 4 comp aces.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're running your 4 slowdown, I feel like you rather enjoy winning, one might say. How do you really feel about winstreaking on Chucky? And do you feel like it's easy compared to other killers to winstreak on them? And do you personally enjoy winstreaking?
I had a brief little career trying to do a Chucky win streak. We got up to 15, but my life just got so busy I haven't been able to stream since. Especially now that I'm back in college, I got my job. It's very hard to get on and stream. But Chucky, he's an easy killer to play, I will admit. That's one of the main draws for him is that you don't have to turn your brain on too much to enjoy him. And he's also decently strong, but he's definitely not Blight, Billy, Kaneki levels of strong.
Yeah, of course, he's not an S tier.
Not at all. Win streaking is fun as him. It's a little relaxing, but when you get a matchup, I had a matchup recently, freaking Shoulder the Burden, RPD. I got 6 hooks and 1 kill.
Dang.
So he can definitely meet his match sometimes.
Yeah, so he's not like super great at win streaking once people actually start knowing what they're doing or running perks that counter that type of thing.
Yeah, Chucky, he has a very strong chase ability. He's just dog shit mobility.
Yeah, because again, he's 110.
Yeah. If you get survivors who spread out, run anti-tunnel, and force you to 12 hook, you're going to have a very, very rough time.
And would you say that there's any specific perk that does counter Chucky?
I'd say, like most killers, you know, you got the Decisive Strike, Off the Record, anything that gives them actually, Dead Hard. A well-timed Dead Hard against Chucky is brutal, because instead of a chase taking 2 health states, it's instead going to do 3. With Chucky's longer dash, and the fact that Chucky doesn't automatically hit survivors when he touches them with Slice and Dice, he can bait out Dead Hard.
So it's just kind of an experience where it's like, okay, fool me once, shame on me. But then like the next time out, you're going to know it's coming.
Yep.
And then like kind of bait it out a little.
Yep. But even that second time, you have to realize, okay, I have to allocate a little bit of distance to where I can force in the Dead Hard and not miss my swing. So yes, Dead Hard is a big mind game against Chucky, and I'd say it counters him the hardest.
Okay. So on the other end of things, as far as perks go, that is what, you know, survivors should run against you if they want to do as well as they could. But what do you usually run on Chucky perk-wise? Like, I know you said earlier, like, oh, I'm just going to run 4 slowdown because, you know, it's good. But are there any perks that you think Chucky uses better than any other killer? And what is your favorite singular perk on him?
Well, because Chucky has no map mobility, you have to make up for that with map control. So passive slowdown generator perks like Corrupt Intervention, Grim Embrace, Dead Man Switch, anything he doesn't have to actively do really help him. And then since he's a dash killer, Brutal Strength. But if I had to pick a very specific perk that is exceptional on him, it's probably Agitation. Chucky doesn't have many perks that are tailored to him. He's a pretty generic killer. He can't use M1 perks. He's just got a dash. You can't do anything that affects his scamper, but Agitation allows him to have a semblance of mobility because you can hook in more secure areas, get closer to survivors, and then the map mobility is less of a problem.
Just move speed, you know, slow down.
I am Agitation base kit #1 apologist.
I don't know about that one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Partial base kit. Give him like 8%.
I don't know.
100% move speed while carrying. It's fair because Sabo exists.
I feel like I would have to hear a full argument on that, but
Skurchuk. There you go.
oh yeah, Skurchuk, of course.
Why the fuck am I Skurchuk spawning in Erie? Both of them on the top floor. It's bullshit.
I mean, that's just a different issue.
Fucking Erie. I hate Erie. Makes me angry.
Well, what is your favorite map then?
Rutgers Yard.
I assume Erie's going to be your least favorite as well.
Erie's got that one, that one window. It's on the, I don't know. It's long wall. Not the one with the door next to it. The one with the breakable door. They both have a breakable door. One of them is curved though. This one is just a big straight wall.
Okay.
That is a good scamper spot. I like Erie for that one spot. And then when they don't go to it, I'm sad.
And are those maps, Wrecker's Yard and Erie, are those the same as your killer's best and worst map?
Wrecker's Yard is Chucky's best map because it's small. That's one of the main reasons Wrecker's Yard, I think, is one of the smallest maps. And the pallets are very playable for Chucky. One of the main things I always say is don't give Chucky pallet control because he will just get a hit. His dash, I think, along with Oni's, are the only two that can slide on walls. So you're just going to get hit if he has the pallet control. And unlike Pig, you ain't pre-running him because he can catch up to you.
Because if you leave the Pig, she's still just going to be moving at her normal 4.6, and then Chucky's going to be moving at like 8 meters a second if you leave, so
yeah,
he's going to catch up to you.
Pig has gotten all these buffs, but I still say their dashes are just not comparable because Pig's is so highly telegraphed.
Yeah, I feel like while they are both technically dashes, they fill different niches.
They're very, very different. You aren't really using Pig's dash against competent survivors.
Yeah, which kind of sucks, and that's just going to be an issue, but I don't really think that 500 more Pig dash updates are going to be the way to go about it.
She will always be a mediocre killer.
Mediocre?
Oh, be nice to the pig.
I hate the Pig, bro. I get tunneled at 5.
Well, you kind of understand that, though.
This is why I run DS, OTR, Resurgence.
Fair enough.
Because I am cringe.
So if you don't want someone to be hard tunneling at 5 because they don't know what they're doing, what is some general advice that you would give to people playing Chucky for the first time? I know like maybe you have like a whole 5-paragraph dissertation you could tell me, but I mean just like I just started Chucky for the first time and I don't know what I'm doing. What is like the first thing you would teach someone?
I would teach them don't use rat poison. Don't be a little bitch. Learn to use your dash. Most of the time, survivors will counter his dash by crouching in corners, like 98% of the time they will do it. So it's not a specific Chucky skill, but have fast reaction times. Because you're going to have to react to fast survivor movement because they're going to try and avoid your very difficult to avoid dash.
So don't use this specific add-on because it's going to teach you bad habits. It's one of those add-ons.
Rat poison is for little bitches. It's always been for little bitches. Don't use it. I have it on my Steam profile. Don't use it. It teaches you bad habits. And when you eventually run out of them, or you play an attorney, I guess, you won't have it. Then what are you going to do?
Suffer, I guess.
You're going to cry. Aura perks on Chucky in general, I wouldn't recommend. Not because they're not good, but just because they teach bad habits. You rely on them too much. So when you don't have them in a chase, you just don't do anything. You're non-lethal Z tier, harmless killer.
So it's more of a training wheel thing rather than like you should be running this at all.
When you ride a bike, you put the training wheels on first. But when you play Chucky, you don't. You get on the bike, you fall off over and over until you learn to ride the bike. In this case, riding the bike is dashing. Good.
Incredible parenting advice, I would say, for
That's
sure.
how I would teach my children.
Of course, yeah.
I'd make a great father.
So how do you feel about Chucky's add-ons? We did just talk about rat poison, don't run it. But in general, would you say his add-ons are well-balanced? Do you think they're overtuned, undertuned? And what do you personally enjoy running?
I think Chucky's add-ons, honestly, are the epitome of what killer add-ons should be. None of them changes gameplay too much. None of them are like super strong where you have to run them. Most of them are just small number changes, small added bonuses. Even as Eries aren't that good. They're just very, very tiny numerical changes. And personally, for the dawn of time, have ran power drill and jump rope.
Why do you run those?
They make Chucky like 8% better. Jump rope makes his dash 8% longer, so hold on, let me do the math. Chucky has a 1.8 second dash that would make it last for almost 2 seconds. And at 8 meters per second, he's going to go pretty far. Another thing that people don't know is that Chucky has his dash and then his attack. Chucky's Slice and Dice has a 1.8 second dash and then a 0.2 attack where he jumps forward and swings his knife. So technically his dash is 2.4 seconds.
All right.
And then Power Drill is the generic cooldown reducer, but unlike other cooldown reducers, it rewards you for using your power well. It reduces the cooldown by 10% when you get a hit. It removes a whole 1.2 seconds off his 12-second cooldown, which can definitely make a difference.
Yeah, a second's a long time when it's in a situation like that, for sure.
Yeah, but you don't need to use these add-ons. You could play complete base kit Chucky and be perfectly fine because they're just so similar.
Yeah. It's nice, but it's not like you have to do it.
Yeah. I'd say his strongest add-on has to be Straight Razor. It's the generic sloppy.
Yeah, the mangled add-on.
80 seconds. It can hard counter a lot of healing perks, especially during this healing meta.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I have to sacrifice Jump Rope or Power Drill, and I ain't doing that.
Understandable completely. So I don't have as well of a transition into this question, but it is something that people enjoy being asked about. How do you feel about Chucky's cosmetic options? I know he recently just got one, the Party Chucky, but do you think that he has enough? Do you think he doesn't have enough? And if you were to get full executive control with what you would make for a skin, what skin would you have made for him?
Chucky is one of the few licensed killers blessed with a pretty nice variety of cosmetic items. Yeah, I know he recently got his birthday skin. He has the fucking adorable backpack. It's incredible. But then he has a blighted skin. He has his prestige. He has a legendary with his lovely wife, Tiffany. He has a very good option. Charred Chucky. No, I'm a Chucky man. I'm struggling to remember exactly what he has. But yeah, he has a nice selection. But sadly, they're all locked behind being a set, so you can't mix and match like, Ghostface could. But just the fact alone, he has plenty of cosmetic options. It really allows you to play the Chucky you want to play. If you like Scarred Chucky, you can play him. But if I had control, I don't think I would give him a ton of cosmetics just because he doesn't have a ton of cosmetics. Chucky has had the very samey look for a while, so I wouldn't bloat his cosmetics with, what's the word I'm looking for here? Originalifying him? Like, no, the Party Chucky, that was never in the movies. I wouldn't do that too much.
Do you like the Party Chucky?
I liked the look of default Chucky the most. It's why I just run the default body and knife with the prestige head. I do not like Scarred Chucky.
Okay. Is there like a specific thing from a movie that you would want to be added that hasn't been added already? I'm not too familiar with the Child's Play franchise. Like maybe their child, like Glenda? Glenda. They're both they, them pronouns. Hashtag Chucky gone woke. Gender fluid.
The creator's always been gay. If you don't support LGBTQ, you ain't a Chucky fan. Just saying. If I could, I was so disappointed during the masquerade because in the Chucky TV show, Chucky has literally has a masquerade Phantom of the Opera outfit that he wore when he was murdering the president. And I would have made that fucking black, gold, and blue, and it would have been such a cool cosmetic to have. And they've been shown to be pretty friendly with the Chucky license holders. So I was so sad when they didn't give him that.
And would that be your kind of OC-ified outfit that you would give to him?
Yes, I would definitely give him. At this point, since the masquerade is over, they're not going to be doing the masquerade again. I would just give him his normal masquerade Phantom of the Opera outfit he had in the show. Black hat, white mask, reddish cape.
Ooh, a cape would go hard.
Alucard levels of fucking nonsense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would definitely give him that. That's the only one I can really think of that he would quote-unquote need.
And like maybe Glenda.
Yes, of course, Glenn and Glenda. I have mixed feelings because Glenn/Glenda, they're not a killer. They rejected the idea of being a murderer like their parents. They did eventually, kill their dad. And Chucky was proud of them as he was having his arms and legs chopped off by them.
I mean, supportive father at least.
Yeah. Chucky is supportive. The whole franchise is very LGBTQ plus friendly because the creator, Don Mancini, is gay. But Chucky himself, I think he's supportive because he's manipulative. Chucky as a whole, one of his main strengths is manipulating people, manipulating children into trusting him. But at his heart, I do think Chucky he's a closeted bisexual. At his heart, he supports it.
Okay, good for them.
Good, I like it. Chucky's awesome. Meanwhile, Michael Myers has voiced no opinions on it. We don't know what he thinks. Is Michael Myers woke?
It's possible. So again, I don't have another segue just because we've been bouncing around on the order of the questions and all that, but I do want to do two last gameplay specific questions. But how has the meta affected you as a Chucky main? So that means stuff not necessarily like changes to him specifically, but changes to like perks, maps, metas, anything like that around Chucky. How has Chucky really kept up with the current changing times of the game?
The pain is unbearable. Chucky is best when survivors are injured, and currently, shit like Resurgence, what's it called? Do no harm. All the healing stuff really, really hurts him because he has to hit a health state twice, and Chucky usually has to use his power because against a good survivor, your little 110 ass ain't getting a hit.
Unless you mind game them around like a tall loop or something, but that's infrequent, I suppose.
Unless they pre-drop me, and I'm sad.
I mean, you did just give him the advice to do that, so...
I know I didn't. Don't pre-drop against Chucky.
You guys should pre-drop against Chucky.
No. Don't do it.
I don't know.
If you pre-run against Chucky, I'll find you.
Not quickly, because you're 110.
No. Hashtag not fair. Can we buff Chucky? This is so sad.
No.
Pretty please?
So we were talking about it a little bit earlier with the whole spirit thing, but do you think that Chucky specifically has given you transferable gameplay skills to any other killers, and what would it be?
Chucky has a very unique dash. It's not like Blights, or it's only similar to Onis in the fact that they can slide down walls, but Chucky has a very specific dash and gameplay loop. So I would say the skills definitely aren't transferable. Like, playing Myers, you're playing an M1 killer, so the M1 killer mind games can transfer over. But Chucky is a very unique. He's third person. He's one of two killers, fucking Dracula, stealing the show, that can be third person.
Dracula's a dog, though.
Stealing the third person dash from Chucky, Dracula's a little bitch.
I'd say it's more of a third person Wesker, personally.
They did just put stronger Wesker on a killer with 3 powers. It's insane.
Yes.
The Wesker erasure is real.
Erase that blonde man.
He thinks he's that guy, but he ain't that guy.
He was kind of that guy for a good while in his stories, I'm not gonna lie.
He was that guy for a good minute, but then they called him the mastermind.
A good 7 minutes?
I can't take anybody named Albert seriously.
No, you're right for that. So anyway, with Dead by Daylight and everything that's been going on, even this new patch 9.2.0 that's been suggested, it's not out as of this recording, but the game has been going for 9 years at this point. It's been going for a while. It's been having some questionable updates this year. How long do you think Dead by Daylight is going to last before it closes for good?
Dead by Daylight, as you know, definitely has a monopoly on licenses. It is the one game where you can play as Chucky racing against Alucard, Rick Grimes, Laurie Strode on Hawkins National Laboratory. No other game can do that. No other game will do that. And I was a big Team Fortress 2 player. And as you know, Team Fortress 2 is still going pretty strong. I think Dead by Daylight has such profound internet culture. I don't see it dying anytime soon, even with these questionable balance changes, unless somehow another game can get as many licenses and have a better gameplay loop. But if that doesn't happen, which I doubt it will, Dead by Daylight will remain on top. And I give it really however long they keep the servers open.
So you don't think it's gonna have any way that they have the game die outside of their own control and not wanting to support it anymore? You think it's just gonna be however long they want to do it?
Exactly. It's kept alive by the fact that you can play all these cool licenses. The OG characters, the original ones, are really cool, but getting Springtrap in the game, it makes people happy to play your favorite characters against your favorite characters.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll die outside of them just shutting the servers down or supremely fucking up the game's code or balance.
Yeah, and even with this most recent patch, it has been it has some interesting ideas in it. I just made a video about it, talking about my thoughts on it, but the Myers change and all the stuff to trying to prevent slugging and tunneling, it's very over the top, and I feel a lot of it is it comes from a good place. Obviously you want every player in the game to have a good time, that's a no-brainer, but I feel this just isn't the way to do it necessarily. I think a good bit of these things are too far into the making things a lose-lose scenario and kind of punishing killer players for making the right play and survivors for making mistakes.
It's just so much. It's bloating the game's balance so badly. There's just too much information. Imagine showing this shit to a new player, a new killer player. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll be punished with this, you'll be punished with that. It's just too much to read and too much to understand, on top of having to understand 300 perks, 40 different killers, a bunch of different maps. It's just too much.
Yeah, and I feel if they keep doing stuff like that and then they just drop it and then they don't change from the PTB, which to be fair, they do change a lot of stuff from the PTB. I'm not going to bring up PTB Clown from 9.1.0, but a lot of the time they do change stuff once they're given enough feedback on it, and that's good. But it's also kind of one of those things where it's a little bit frustrating when the average player could look at something on paper and be like, okay, that's going to be terrible. without numbers being given to things when they're bringing up like a dev preview and like what they're working on, it's always going to be something that this is a fine idea, but the numbers make or break it. And we're just having like a few days of panic for no reason because the numbers aren't coming with it. It's like, okay, so a survivor isn't going to be shown to the killer when they're unhooked. Okay. For how long? Like for 5 seconds? Sure, whatever. For 30 seconds? What are we doing? And they don't give us the number until like the next patch, which is like just unnecessarily panicking the community, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why they released these patch notes with 0 numbers. No, they said, oh yeah, we're going to change some perks. What perks are you changing?
That's what I said, almost verbatim, yeah.
Are you going to nerf all the anti-tunnel? I hope to God you are. I am not dealing with Decisive Strike on top of all this other bullshit. Nerf that thing.
I think the implication was that they were going to be nerfing anti-tunnel and like all the anti stuff that they're adding just so they can actually like add some of it base kit. And I think that's a very healthy way to go about it.
Yeah.
Saying that would be good.
If you add too many things base kit, I play both sides, but they're watering down the survivor role and they're bloating up the killer role.
100%.
Because, I know in the lore the entity likes, you hooking all the survivors, them losing, him having hope. But I don't think lore should be taken into a gameplay balance at all.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes sense, sure, but
in this context, no, it doesn't make sense. Why is the mean evil killer gonna ignore the survivor running into them? Oh, I can't regress my generators anymore, and I fucking lose.
Yeah, it's a little bit much. So now my last question for you is just going to be like the final bit, the end of all things. What would make you stop playing Chucky for good? A change they make, a new character that comes out, what would make you stop playing him?
Recently, I'm a massive fan of Michael Myers, as me maining him for so long could tell. And recently, with the whole him becoming Yummy Dash Slop and getting Tombstone base kit, has made me really consider, because I fucking love Michael Myers, but I built my reputation on being a Chucky main so much, I just can't. The only thing that would make me stop playing Chucky is if they removed him from the game entirely, even if he bought him. Just gone.
Yeah, so there wouldn't be like a patch to be like, okay, we're changing his slice and dice to 6 meters a second. That wouldn't stop you from playing Chucky. Obviously, that's a little crazy, but
it's obviously a little crazy that they wouldn't do that. But I would still play him because he's Chucky and he's fun.
And yet he's voiced by the original voice too, so
yeah,
it's like he's really there.
He is just there. But yeah, the only thing that would make me stop playing if he just wasn't there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the same way with Nemesis. So
Nemesis.
Okay, man.
Nemesis, we'll see.
All right, I need you to stop. That's all I have for you today. So this end section is just kind of where I let my guests, talk about everything they want to talk about. So if you just want to drop all your links where people can find you, anything you're working on, anything you're excited for, anything you want to tell people, this is your time. Just go for it.
I know on my YouTube channel, I have not uploaded in a very long time. In fact, I can check when my last video was. It was shortly after the Chucky Doom post where they made him 8 meters per second. Yeah, it was 7 months ago. Holy shit. Actually, my last video was a Freddy video. Don't tell anybody though. But I am actively working on a video. I won't get into specifics, but something is in the works. It's hard for me because I'm so busy this year, but stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come.
Okay.
I am just Mr. Smithsonian, Mr. not spelled Mr. with a period. On Twitch, I think I am Mr._Smithsonian. Then on Elon Musk's X, I am also Mr._Smithsonian. So if you ever want to check out some mediocre scamper clips, that is where you will find me.
All right, cool. And to everyone watching, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Go check out Mr. Smithsonian on all these links on your screen. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, noon, morning, evening, night, whatever it might be. And I hope to catch you in the next one. So I will see you later, and bye-bye.
I love you all. Bye.